So we have Judy Mzungu Hakula in the building of the realignment program. Sasa, unakaa vizuri.
Asante na shukuru mwikali.
You know, you were just sitting over there and I wasn't sure who's this chick. Is she here for my show?
You know, you're a whole date. I have to find.
You look so nice.
For you.
I am honored. It would be such a mess if I didn't see it. After mefanya kazi.
No.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank
It's
you
been
so
a while.
Much. Yes.
Today we're talking about breaking patterns.
Yes.
And every time I hear that, I'm always looking out kwa maisha yangu.
Yes.
What are some of those things I've carried along? What are some of those beliefs?
Yes.
Kwetu tunakuanga, mimi ninakuanga.
Yes.
It's always, it was said this about me, so that means I can't be anything else.
Yes.
So this is who I am, take it or leave it, not knowing that there's a huge chance and possibility of becoming the very best version of myself if given a chance.
That's so true. That's so true. And you know, one of the things that I have encountered in Africa, in Black Africa, we have been cultured to think that our families were perfect.
Did your father or mother, uncles tell you they were always number one?
Yes.
How else are you going to see them if not that way?
Yeah.
Yes.
But you know what? We don't interrogate our family setting.
Yeah. No, we don't.
We don't. And for the most part, even when you're coaching people and you try to interrogate where did someone come from, you'll be very surprised. 90% or 95% of the people paint a very rosy picture. And it's not that they want to hide anything.
No.
It's the way we are cultured. And so by the time you're beginning to deal with someone's issues and they're saying, you know what, I face rejection after rejection, or I'm just not able to hold a relationship together, or sometimes things just don't seem to work in the workplace in as much as I am intellectually up there. But there just seems to be a disconnect. So by the time someone is coming to talk to us, as an example, they're probably desperate and they're coming to talk to us about their Q4 experience, which is the last experience that they had in their lives.
It's what is going on now.
Yes, that is what they think is the problem. But you have to go way back and begin to ask yourself, what is it somewhere along the way that seemed to have developed this pattern that is then hindering me from getting to where I need to go?
You know, growing up, like you said, interrogating our folks or our family systems was not something that you would easily do. First of all, because we grew up being told you can't question them.
Yes.
And it's just recently they were seeing young ones putting their parents on account. It's like, so are you on your phone every time you come home? See, you need to talk to me.
Yes.
And that never used to be the case.
No.
It used to be dad akikuja amesema ama kama mtoroki, kama mjifichi, kama mnyamazi the whole time.
Yes.
So at what point will I question?
And I think that's an important conversation for each and every one of us to have. Because only when, Mikali, you can sit back and begin to interrogate where you came from. The past will always hinder you, because remember that the past has defined who you are today. And if you don't stop and begin to check some of these patterns so that then you can move forward, guess what? Many of us are moving around mountains and not being able to just move forward to what God has called us to.
Yeah.
And so for me, I think it's important, even as we say this, that we understand that we are not coming from the place of blaming our parents. No. We understand that considering their set of circumstances, considering the knowledge that they had at that time, considering everything else, maybe the culture, the society, they did the best that they could.
Yep.
But then it's important for us to realize that, you know what, my parents did their best. They offered me their best, but yes, they did make some mistakes, knowingly or unknowingly.
They probably didn't know better.
Yes. But unless you take time to interrogate that, guess what we are doing? We are passing on the same pattern to the next generation. So the only way to break the pattern is for you to have a sense of awareness that then tells you something went wrong.
Yeah.
My parents did the very best they could. I honor them. I appreciate them. But there are aspects that I think I need to change because I can see its effect upon my life. So for my children and for my generations, or even for my own future to get better, then it becomes my responsibility to say, let me interrogate, let me introspect, let me begin to correct certain things and make choices that are not coming from the place of pain.
Okay. Not because nilienda shule na viatu hakuna.
Yes.
That nakutolelea uchungu that you have to suffer.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But how do we pick out these patterns? How do I know that this is definitely something that I need to break? Because we grew up knowing that that is who we are.
Yes.
That we only associate to eat in this way. So how do we pick out that this is, what are those patterns?
What are the patterns? Sometimes it's as simple as, okay, let me say, like, for example, in my case, I realized that my mother herself, she had gone through rejection after rejection.
Okay.
So now when I got older in life, I realized that I wasn't a bad person, but why was it that I was attracting rejection after rejection, notwithstanding the fact that I meant well?
Okay.
So I began to look at my mother's own life and then recognize her pain. And then begin to understand that because of the pain she had gone through, she had also inflicted pain upon me without knowing. So what happened? I also seemed to carry anger.
Okay.
And maybe to a given extent, even as I interacted with people, what then happened is because I had gone through rejection after rejection, I'm half expecting rejection.
Okay, so you're already out the door.
Yes. Or I'm coming into a relationship. Yeah. So that means I'm not allowing you access to come into the deepest part of who I am, which meant that it actually hindered me from experiencing healthy and fulfilling relationships. And also it also hindered me from extending grace to other people. So until I got to that place where I began to question those things, then now I began to look at, remember the root now was my mother.
Yes.
So I began to look at my mother's own situation from a place of empathy. How did that empathy look? Then I began to understand, what is it that she went through? Yeah. When I was able to interrogate that and begin to see it and begin to empathize with my mother, then I had to make certain choices pertaining to who Judy Mzungu's life, who Judy Mzungu is, and the path that I needed to rewrite so that I write a better story. But that did not mean that I blamed her, no. I just meant that now, by the way, yes, I understand, thank you. So that is a conversation that many of us, do not want to take, because either one, you're very angry about what happened. Maybe you have a sense of resentment towards whoever offended you, towards maybe sometimes the family system and all, and that also will become a hindrance for you until you come to the place of healing, so that then you can forgive. But the other thing that many people do is that they tend to think that, you know what, my family was perfect.
Yes. And
they don't mean bad.
No.
You know, yes. But until now, you begin to go back and interrogate them and open their eyes to see. And Mikali, it's as simple as, well, I'm talking, keep quiet, you don't talk, you don't question my authority. So without knowing, you have actually muzzled that person's voice as a child. What happens into their teenagehood, into their adulthood, their voices grew up muzzled throughout. When they're making even their relationship choices, they're marrying partners who continue muzzling them. Without knowing, these people continue now seeking validation from other people, not being able to express themselves, and they don't realize that therein is a pattern.
You just grow up being silent, or just niko tu sawa.
Yes.
Kile tu atasema.
Yes.
I'm easy, and it's okay as long as you're not rocking the boat.
Yes.
Nobody's shouting at me.
Yes.
Nobody's telling me to keep quiet, so niko tu hapa.
And you know, the problem with that, Mikali, is that you're not just affecting someone in terms of being a yes person or a no person.
Yes.
They actually let go of the reins of their lives. Such people don't know how to dream. That it's actually work to begin to tell them, you know what, those people grow up because decisions were always made for them. So they grow up, and then because they've gone through disappointment after disappointment after disappointment, without time they begin to lower their expectations of life.
Then you will not dream.
Then you'll not dream. So this is an important conversation for us to have if people are going to rise up to find their true identity. Because it's only when you find out your true identity, Mikali, that you can begin to have clarity of vision.
Until then,
Until then, you're probably on autopilot and you don't realize it.
Or probably even on the wrong path. Whatever you think is your dream or vision is probably not it.
Yes.
It is induced, or, you know, there's a huge role being played by the things that you've grown up believing.
Yes.
Or the
that's true.
patterns that you've been accustomed to.
Yes, yes. And the biggest, I think for me, the biggest challenge that I have found, especially as far as coaching is concerned,
Yes.
is those people who seem to be intellectually sharp because they seem to have it. And then they are so pumped up, their willpower is so pumped up, but then they don't realize emotionally they are broken.
Oh my goodness. I was watching something this weekend. Will
Yes.
Smith did something about best shape of you.
Yes.
And he had given, he'd grown big. He was doing a role and something and something and something. So he'd gone, like he was in the worst shape ever since we knew him from Fresh Prince.
Yes.
And some of the things that came out, even with the clinical psychologists who are part of this journey for 20 weeks of losing 200 pounds, something like that, he kept, the one thing that kept coming up is how he grew up. The father was a general, so it is do it or ninapita na wewe.
Yes.
So it's the same thing. He can't take failure. He can't accept failure. For him, it's like whatever it takes. And even if I get to this point, then I need to niende. So you burn out, you leave people behind, then it becomes really about you. So it looks like, oh, he's always making it. He's always doing something for himself. But then again, it is not, it has an extreme that is a pattern.
Yes.
So you're still answering to your dad,
Yes.
even in adulthood.
Yes. And even when it seems like you're making it. Now, the key word here is seem.
Seem. Yeah. Then you're losing yourself.
Yes. And now you know what tends to happen sometimes to those people? They seem to be excelling, but even in excelling, there's a place they cannot quite get to. Why? Because remember, Mwikali, these doors are opened by relationships. So yes, you're producing results, but the doors don't just seem to open for you, especially for people in the marketplace. And you might begin to wonder, what is wrong with my bosses? No, there's something wrong with the energy that you're emitting coming from the fact that you're so emotionally wounded that people do not, you know, and they say favor.
Yes.
Mwikali, favor is about the state of your emotions.
Oh, si Mungu tu anipatie favor. The two favor, Lord.
Yeah,
Just
you know,
give me
yeah, favor.
No.
But the truth is, sometimes, in fact, God has already given you the favor. True. It is true.
I've already received it.
You have already
But I'm not seeing it.
Thank you. Now let me explain it to you. So favor has been released from the spiritual realm.
Yes.
Your spirit, which resides in you, which resides in you, understands that yes, there's something. I have something within me.
Yes.
I know that I have this idea. But because of the wounds that were inflicted by the patterns of where you came from, your mind begins to doubt.
Oh. Oh.
So you begin to second guess yourself.
Okay.
Your emotions lack faith because they were wounded. Your willpower is not moving. I'm talking about the soul. So the favor was released, your spirit received, but you're not able to manifest that thing in the physical realm because something happened at the level of your soul.
So you are self-hindering.
You are self-hindering. Things just don't seem to align.
Yeah.
You don't understand what is going on. And then now that's the thing that I keep saying. Sometimes a lot of these things that people are seeing on YouTube, a lot of these things that don't seem to understand the place of the emotion and the spirit.
Yes.
So what happens? You'll stand before a mirror and begin to, I am fearfully, I am powerful. I am powerful in front of a mirror.
I'm a conqueror.
You know. But yes, and sometimes, by the way, you can even quote scripture.
Yes.
If you're of the world, you probably are not quoting scripture, but you're telling yourself things.
But I was told to say them in
Yes,
front of a mirror.
you say in front of the mirror, but they're not coming into the realm of the emotion. Do you understand? So it's
yes.
very physical.
Very physical.
So it's a lot of work that is not bearing results until we get to the point where we can get the connection from the spiritual realm into your spirit, moving past your soul, so that then you can manifest.
I want to dream again. Oh, I want to dream bigger dreams. I don't know about you. Are you seeing a pattern? Have you seen patterns in your family? And it's just not you. Ile family inakwanga na nini na nini na nini, you know. And then you think, tunakwanga tu hivo. ama itakuwa tu hivyo na hata wale watoto wangu watakuja. Those are patterns that can be broken, and that is what we're talking about. That it is not too late for you to dream again, that you can have that dream, that you can go for it, that you can live your very best life.
Amen.
If you have, we are taking all of your questions. Please send them through 111-444-111. If you're experiencing any blockages, self-doubt, what is it that you're experiencing right now? Switch TV KE on Instagram, Switch TV Kenya on Facebook. We'll be right back with Judy after this break. Welcome back to Full Circle with Mwikali, Monday edition. We have Judy Mzungu Hakula in the building, who's the CEO of the Realignment Program. We're talking about breaking those patterns, and we've figured out these patterns could come from anywhere, but most of the times we don't look at our family because hapo ndio maisha yetu inaanzianga. So some of those things could be so toxic and sometimes could sort of like bar you from reaching your full potential. But Judy, I'd like to say this. When somebody would sit here and listen from your story, your personal story, and other stories that have been shared on this set before, people would have the anticipation or the expectation that, can't be me. Like those people have like drama, like their problems are huge. Mimi niko tu sawa.
I know.
So it feels like it's a problem for people who have bigger problems. So I don't think we had a problem.
That's
niko tu sawa mimi. I don't need this.
I get it. And let me tell you the interesting thing about coaching. When you go back, it becomes sweeter and sweeter, because sometimes now you realize that I remember situations where someone can trace back to a grandmother.
Okay.
And at that point, they didn't think it that way.
Yeah, but they carried
it.
Yeah.
It's as simple as, you know when we used to play Kalongo Longo?
Yes.
No, in fact, not Kalongo Longo. Kalongo Longo, you didn't have to be chosen. Kati, you had to be chosen. Yes, and then you probably, maybe there's something about you don't have speed.
Yes.
You don't know how to run away from the ball or something. So, no team wants you.
Yeah.
Do you know, for a person, that reflects in their mind as rejection.
It was very painful.
It was?
Yeah.
I always got selected. So
I mean, have you seen you? Judy, have you? But I understand, like kuna mtu anataka, so not even for me, but even for the people mwenye tabaki uko why unataka kukuoa mwisho kwa sababu unajua. Yenye hakuna mtu anajisikia na mimi hata nimechaguliwa tu ile ya. Yes. They don't have an option.
And then there's something even just as simple as you are an only child for a while, and then another child checks in.
Yes.
And that moment of not understanding how to navigate, because remember, our parents in the old didn't know how to help us navigate the inclusion of a new person coming into the family.
Yeah.
So without knowing, you actually fell into the shadows.
Yeah. Now everyone is focusing on you, baby. Yes.
So when you fell into the shadows, without knowing, again, it becomes your life pattern. You begin to feel less important.
I don't feel like our parents were taught these things. No, then they were just living.
Yes, but you can imagine there are some of us who are still making those mistakes today.
Right now.
Yes.
Or suffering from those mistakes.
Or something that a teacher said.
Yes. I use mine well, though. Waliniandikia times 10 noisemaker. So naongea too.
Yes.
I'm just
now
like,
you see, that was you. You actually had to take time to interrogate and turn it around.
Yes.
I was told I'm kiherehere.
Look at you now.
No. But you know, Mikadi, for the longest time, I stopped talking. For real.
Wow.
I stopped talking because I thought the SI unit is to be like my sisters. They are quiet, and therefore, actually, for most people who even knew me in high school, they asked me, why didn't we see this version of Judy in high school? That's the truth.
Because you were shut down.
I was shut down. And I know there's someone out there. Maybe they've just been shut down, muzzled, or made to feel less. Maybe you understand?
Yes.
And sometimes, but most times, the thing they attack is a thing that God wants to use. Noisemaker times 10, see the noise you're making.
Yeah.
Kiherehere, see.
Yes.
Most times, that thing that was attacked, that thing that you don't even see value in, is what we need to bring out. Now, that's what in my program I call bringing out the treasures. Mwikali, do you know? I ask people, what gem do you see? I kid you not. People cannot see a gem within them. The effect of what life can do to you.
It's like there's nothing, I'm just ordinary.
Imagine.
But then they're not.
They are not. None of us is. Each and every one of us, God deposited something inside of you. Our work then, as the society around you, is to help you to see that thing and bring it out and give you a platform for it to shine. But what does society do? It tries to mold you and fit you into a box, to try and muzzle you and mold you into something that you are not meant to be. Many of us succumbed to that pressure. But you know what? This call, Mikali, and this conversation is about us, deciding, making a choice, making a decision, and saying, you know what? I'm not going to fit into the mold. I have to be everything that God designed for me to be. And for you to be able to do that, you have to go back and begin to break that pattern.
Then there's a fear. There's a fear that comes with stepping out from what society told you to be, and you conformed.
Yes.
So you conformed to what dad, mom said, your sisters said,
Yes.
society said,
Yes.
the church said.
Yes.
So you conformed to that.
Yes.
Now you have a burning desire to break out of it. But then how do you handle the fear of stepping out into the light, into your light?
Let me tell you, I keep telling everyone, all of us have fear. Mikali, I have fear every time I come before.
Nah, for full circle.
Yes. What do you mean? No, it's true.
Okay.
I'm serious, because you don't know what you're going to encounter.
That's true.
You don't know the questions that are going to come. Every environment is not the same. You remember the last time when we came, we had challenges.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So there's a fear aspect to it. It's not always, the script is not always going to play out the way you think it's going to play out.
Yeah.
But then I have to push past the fear anyway. You don't know whether you're even going to speak to someone's life, whereas that is what your heart's desire.
Yeah.
So there's a fear attached to it. Am I going to actually impact a life? Am I going to fulfill purpose even as I go there? But then I have to push past the fear, and that's to encourage someone. Because sometimes people see us coming out and they think we are coming out because we don't fear. No. We come out and we have to push past the fear.
Do it scared.
Yes, do it scared, but do it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even for me, having to remodel myself past the age of 40, Mwikali, there was a fear element to it. Do I have what it takes? What time frame do I have to do this?
I mean, you're 40, people are doing these things, and this is where you feel your voice is supposed to be at. And you're looking at all those people who are excelling at it. But then you stepped out and did it.
Yes, but you'd think, do I have what it takes? Is the market going to open up for me anyway? How much time do I have? The learning curve is a bit too much. You understand?
Do you even have the right content?
Thank you. Yeah, now that's another thing.
Yes.
In fact, before I called myself a life skills developer,
Yes.
I was too afraid to think I can represent the kingdom. That's my truth. Until the testimony started coming in. Then I realized, Judy, this one is not just a business. Truthfully speaking with Kali, I was charging a very low amount because I didn't believe in myself. I'm sharing my story for people to also understand that we too suffer fear. It took the clients themselves to begin to write back and say, you teach us about a gem, but you're not handling this product like the gem that you tell us it is.
Oh.
Yes.
They called you out?
Yes. I got feedback and people putting it down on paper. And even the first time I changed the price, Mikali, I was scared.
Will they come? Am I too materialistic now?
Yes.
Am I money-minded?
Yes.
But then it's them who are saying you're not treating it like the gem that it is.
And Mikali, it was surprising that when I was able to push past the fear, something happened in terms of the kind of people now I was attracting. I began to attract actually what is my tribe. But that doesn't mean, and you know what was hindering me to a given extent? I came from the hood. So my burden was for the person in the hood. And do you know, once I came out this way and I began now to attract the tribe that God was calling me to, I found now people who are coming back to sponsor these people that I had a burden for. See how God works.
I see. I see.
So the thing about it is, once the fear is always going to be there. We have to come out and break the mold anyway. But then again, we have to say, truthfully speaking, there's going to be a price.
Yes.
There are people who are used to the old version of Judy.
Yeah.
So I had to reintroduce myself.
It's like, hi.
This is Judy Mzungu Hakula. I'm the same, but you know I'm not exactly the same.
2.0. 2.0. Renewed, re-energized, revised.
Yes.
This is it.
This is it. You have to have the courage to reintroduce yourself back to the same people and say, you know what, something happened to me.
Yeah.
And while you're in that space, before you introduce yourself, the truth is there'll be a space of separation that we don't talk about.
Where you're alone.
Where you are alone, to allow yourself to metamorphosize into what God is taking you to be. And so even as we talk about breaking patterns, it's important for us to tell people the whole story. It's not just going to be a walk in the park. You have to be willing to pay the price. But the beauty about it is you begin to dream again. You begin to go to what God is calling you towards, and then you begin to find fulfillment for your life journey.
Ngaleven, you want to smile.
I'm enjoying.
Like happy. We have a question here for you.
Yes.
Good morning, Full Circle with Mwikali. My name is Omondi Timon from Mombasa Road. Concerning today's topic, a pattern I'm trying to break is being too caring and forgetting myself.
Yes. Now that is someone who is seeking validation. It might be that wherever they grew up in a very controlling environment.
Yeah.
And so because they grew up in a controlling environment, something within them is telling them, you know what, you have to forget yourself so that you just get into the system for the sake of survival.
Yeah.
So because of that, now over and over again, this person begins to let go of boundaries so that they can find validation in other people. Now that's how he let go of his boundaries. So such a person needs to be helped to first of all find his value as Timon. Then when he finds his value as Timon, the next thing that he will do is to begin to erect healthy boundaries, where people now around him begin to understand, this is what I can expect from Timon because he is able to give it to me gladly. And where he's not able to give it, he can graciously say no without feeling like he's offending anyone.
No is not easy.
No is not easy, but it's a sentence all
It
by
is
itself.
complete.
Yes.
See, no, but you see, I couldn't.
No, I'm not able to. I'm not able to at this time, and it's okay, Mwikali. And sometimes we have to learn to say those no's. Remember why we are saying no?
Yeah.
It's not, we're not coming from a place of selfishness.
No.
Remember, the example that I was giving you earlier, favor was released by this God. It came, landed in your spirit, but then your soul began to second guess yourself, doubt, lack of faith, your emotional zeal. Therefore, you are not able to manifest it. As we are looking towards healing, what then we are saying is we have to heal this part. That whatever it is that the Spirit of God tells your spirit, you can now begin to accept it. And because you can accept it, you can visualize it, the place of dreaming. And because you can visualize it and you can see it clearly, you begin to have divine ideas and strategies for where you need to go. Then you call it into manifestation. So when someone like Timon, we are telling him, learn to say no, is because he has to now come to the place of learning to guard his soul again so that he can go back to the realm of what God desires for him to be.
So these are the kind of people who will be told they're so accommodating.
Yes.
He's so nice.
Yes.
He will always be there for
At
you.
what expense?
At what expense? But then he's not letting the world know at what expense.
Yes.
So he'll be alone at night wondering, why did I go?
Actually, such people suffer burnout, and they find that they have resentment for other people. Remember, they're not doing it joyfully. He's complaining because he'd like to say no, but he only needs empowerment first to see himself correctly. Then he can learn to say no. Because truthfully where he is at right now, he doesn't even know where he's going. So he's answering to every call that is coming.
Okay. When you put it like that, I see a picture.
You see it?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do. And I hope Timon is seeing it as well.
And everyone else in the same shoes, yes.
Because most of the times we look at these patterns as the negative ones. But then it's also those patterns that everybody likes about you.
Yes.
It's not that everybody hates about you. It's like, we can't include that. And they don't know why people never include you. They don't want to be your friends. They don't want to be associated with you. Or the kind of men or women that you've been dating. Why are they always beating me up?
Yes.
Why are they always cheating on me?
Yes. Now
So
that's also, yes, that's also now someone not having self-worth. So there's something about you that is also attracting those people because of the wounds that you have suffering. But then secondly, now you're not able to say no, to put a stop to it.
Okay. So I'm constantly saying yes to the same things that is it a reflection of what I am on the inside? That I am attracting?
Yes, it's a reflection of your self-image. Remember when I was talking about your spirit has received, but then your mind. So one thing that happens at the thought realm is the first thing that the enemy or the life circumstances come to hit for those who are not necessarily born again is your sense of identity. Once your sense of sense identity has been taken out, Mikali, you can do nothing in this world.
When you say it like that, it's scary.
It is true. It is the truth.
Yeah.
Because only the version of you that sees yourself clearly, Mikali, can begin to dream about where you're going next.
Sometimes we have these conversations and I feel like I'm the one asking questions about me.
Let
It's
me
like,
tell
this
you.
is not
you,
audience.
I told you.
this is my therapy session on Full Circle time.
I'll build Switch TV or
And
else
me.
you come.
It is just so powerful to understand things the way you explain them and the way you break them down. For me and for the audience, it's not over my head. It is directly to me.
Thank
so
you.
I understand it and I see it.
Wow.
So that means all is not lost. There is hope.
Yes.
And one thing that you've reiterated today is that there is a specific time for you to be able to dream again. It doesn't matter how old you are.
I am a living testimony.
Yes, you are.
Mikali. You know what? People begin to write you off at 35.
Yeah, they do.
And
On all
actually
grounds. 30 on all grounds. Oshanza at 30.
Have you made it? What path are you taking? You know, are you married?
Akapi mzee.
Yeah. Where are you? How many children do you have?
Na kama ni moja,
Refuse.
akapi dada yake ama ndugu yake.
Yes, we are tearing that script and rewriting a new script and saying, as long as you can come to the place of healing and self-discovery, Mikali, at any point in your life, you can find your purpose again.
Okay.
Now that's what the realignment program is about.
And that is how we end the show. What are you saying? What are you saying? You were saying something in my ear. Somebody was saying something in my ear. And then they've gone now. Oh, okay. Hi, Mikali Amester from Kakamega. The pattern I'm trying to break is overthinking too much and not believing in myself. And that I think we've also talked about that. How can they send these questions? To you.
To me.
Yes.
You can call me 0714-722-733 or 784-722-733. Call me, send WhatsApp. I'll be able to interact with you. Or you can find me on social media at Safarini with Judy Mzungu Hakula, where we take the journey of life together.
Thank you.
Karibu. And thank you too.
Yeah, therapy session. We're going to take a break for now. We will be right back. Don't go too far. This is Full Circle with Mikali.